during the interrogation in the secret police headquarters in Lodz, in my city, they use all kinds of weird tactics and techniques on you. But so when they throw me in at night, it was totally dark, concrete place where have a podium in the middle of it. It's almost like not like a pedestal, but like huge where you can lay on it. But so when I walked in, I just didn't know, because from light came into darkness. Somebody said, "Hey, go find the place on the wall, go sit down, and then sort it out in the morning." And they turn the lights out at 5 o'clock, and like a dude comes up to me and say, "Well, I'm hungry. I'm going to eat your," because they always keep you up there hungry, because there's one of the techniques they use, being cold and hungry, so it's easier to break you down. So this guy comes out and says, "I'm going to eat your breakfast today." I was like, "No." And I knock him out. And then I knock him out. It doesn't take long. Just 2 shots. The guy fall down. But then I was like, you know what? Just to be sure that I'm not being bothered again. So I just carefully, or he was laying on the ground, just lift his upper lip and just drove his 2 teeth out and pulled the teeth out. So just knocking his 2 front teeth. So yeah, he never ate my breakfast. Actually, he couldn't eat because he was missing teeth. So I kind of helped him out, and I kind of helped myself to his breakfast. But then I was just thinking, I was just like, that would be cool having the necklace out of it. So I said, I'm going to keep them. So I hide them. Actually, I was holding on to them for quite a long time, because even when I got transferred to another prison, I still have them. Well, eventually they found this, like, whose teeth are there. It's like, I don't know what it is.
What were the conditions like?
They took those teeth away from me. But I was really thinking I'm going to make the necklace out of it. Yeah. And that would be pretty cool. So that's how I was thinking at the time. So,
what were the conditions like in the first prison that you were in? I mean, Soviet prisons have a pretty...
Well, so there was a few things like, I just beat up the guy from the very beginning. I didn't have any problems anymore. Nobody messed with me. No, I was doing the martial art. I was fighting at the time. They knew as we were beating... I missed the entire part of my life where from box I moved to karate, kyokushin, and taekwondo, and I would never do it something like this here, or there was the different times I was living in. So we beat people on the streets for training. So we were just training our techniques on people who could hustle and coerce them into fight. So yeah, it was pretty good. And so after that guy, eventually after the interrogations ended, and I remember that was pretty scary too, not just being there, but around one time, very early in the morning, or I would say it was 2 o'clock, because I was looking on the car, on the watch. They came to take me out of the prison cell, and they handcuffed me and put me in civilian car. And we just drove around the city, and then go to the woods, go to the fields. I was like, where are we going? I said, well, when we made it wouldn't really matter to you anymore. So I was really scared. I thought they're going to kill me. So I would have made some plans. What can I do? And they stop in the woods and try to kill me. It was like fantasy, because I couldn't do anything. I was handcuffed. But, I was like, where it is, I don't go down. I will go down swinging. Mm-hmm. And so that happened twice. And they left me alone. The funniest story is when I came back when they threw me back in the tank, the holding tank, there was people up there who were scared more than I did, because they thought they were the last ones seeing me. So the government might kill them too. Yeah. Some of those more aware, I guess, of the communist socialist state, how socialist state operates. So anyway, they transferred me to another prison. So from the holding tank, I went to this prison where I was still, the investigation was pretty much over. So I was just waiting for the sentence.
What questions were they asking you when they were interrogating you?
They asked me who were all my contacts, who I was working with. So they knew, because they arrested, there was 3 of us arrested. So what did you do? So I had to describe, like, I was working don't know anything about it. The leaflets that you found in my house, because they told me they found the leaflets in my house. So I said, I just picked them on the street. I don't know. I never admit that. And so they had nothing on me except the leaflets they found in my house. And the point that I came in, I knocked on the door where we were printing it. But I never admit that. I just say, no, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what you're asking about. So I had to just write, I don't know, I don't know. And my partner too, he the same thing. He's like the guy who was in my case. I don't know. He didn't know anything. But the woman who was with us, she had 2 children. So they took her children. I think they placed them in orphanage and say she will never see them again. So they forced her. So she told everything. But again, there was just nobody to corroborate her story because it was 3 of us, and we 2 say absolutely not. She was saying yes, they did. So then we got sentenced, and when they transferred me from the holding tank to the prison, I remember I walk in. I see everybody's seats. There was prison for maybe for 4 people. I was 4 beds, but I think there was 10 of us, and I think 10. And everybody sits on the floor, and there's a table and stools, 4 stools. So 4 bigger guys sitting on the stools, rest sitting on the floor, they lean on nothing. So it's like, well, empty bed, I'm going to lay down on it. So the guy came up, said, it's my bed. And I say, okay, whatever, But anyway, so the rule was that you are not allowed to lean on wall, lean on anything. You can lean on the table like I'm leaning now, if you was lucky to sit on one of those 4 stools. And that's if you these guys if you lay here, they're gonna fuck you up because that's against the rule. You cannot lay. I said, fuck me up for what? Laying on the bed? It's not even 5 minutes later. The door is open. Big guards, I think 4 guards came in. They dragged me outside and started kicking me and beat the hell out of me. So I said, they threw me back in cell. Said, don't do it anymore. I was like, okay, but then I'm thinking I'm beat up. So I can barely see on my eyes. I can barely stand. So they're not going to beat me up again for the same thing. So I go lay down. So they dragged me up again, but this time instead of kicking me, they have those rubber, like a rubber stick with the rod inside. Oh. Their technique is to beat you on the kidneys. So they don't leave a lot of marks. The marks heals, but your kidneys are messed up. It hurts as hell. So this is what they did, start beating me with this. And they got a few kicks, but mostly with these rubber sticks. They throw me inside. So I said, well, now for sure not going to do anything. I mean, I'm already really beat up. So I went straight to bed. 3 times happened in one of these guys, the guy who I knocked out. Because I knocked out the guy in the cell too, because I was laying on his bed. He's like, if this guy can do it, I'm the biggest here in the cell. I can do it too. So he lay on the other bed. He didn't try to get me out of his bed. That was my bed from then on. So he lay on another one. And again, it's not even 5 minutes. The door's open. The guards come in. I say, oh shit, I'm going to get beat up again. They left me alone. They just grabbed the guy between on the hallway, and you can hear screams like the goddamn. I said, if I was screaming like this, I would like somebody to slap me like a bitch. Hey, stop screaming! But this guy was yelling like somebody was just just cutting him to pieces, and apologizing. He will never do it again. And then they throw him in the cell. He just looked around. I will sit, just grab one of those smaller guys sitting on the stool, because it was 4 stools on. Just throw him across the cell, sit down, and he never lay down. They left me alone. I was laying down for the rest of my being there. And they transfer us on the Russian border to political prison in Hrubieszów. This is where actually that was the real education on communism, socialism started. This is where I started learning about Polish history, Because I was there, I was sitting not with criminals, I was sitting with professors, with engineers, with activists, people who accomplish a lot in their lives. So for me, they become like role models. And as I started learning from them, they were teaching about history of Poland, which is like, I was very fascinated by it. And that's where we have our own regularity. So these guys, they were like organizing fight on outside when they were arrested. They organized fight from prison. So we create our own regularity. If you get beat up by the guards, we will go on strike, hunger strike for so many days, or we'll do for this. And eventually, I think we went on like a month hunger strike. I don't remember the time period. I had the notes somewhere. I need to find it. With the calendar. So we went on hunger strike. And after 2 weeks, by the law in Poland, they had to feed you, force feed you. So this is how they start breaking our strike apart. There were some people who were sick, they were taken to hospital. But what they do, they bring the big jar, like this big, the store, what do you call it? Like a dish, jar or whatever.
Oh, like a barrel?
Like a barrel, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in that it was like a yellow gooey, like a sticky. And then they breed the funnel and the corrugated pipe. That looks like the vacuum pipe, but smaller. So they shove it down your throat and they'll just pour this thing and they say, okay, go back to your cell. So the first time I remember they had a lot of resistance from people. Me too, I broke the chair because they tied me up to the chair, they handcuffed me. But it was so unpleasant. I was suffocating that I broke the chair. So they jumped on me and beat me up some more. Eventually, you learn how to do it, how to deal with it. So I didn't have a problem. I let them shove this thing in my stomach and then pour this thing. But what they did to older people who had a hard time adapting to it, I have a professor, he's 60 years old. He never even maybe witnessed violence. Or very seldom. Everybody witnessed violence in that period of time. But, we're talking about professor or some engineer who is a really good person, family man, and suddenly you have a, corrugated pipe with it being shoved in your stomach and then thing put in. So they say, hey, you know what? Why don't I have to shove this thing in your stomach? Why don't you just get this jar, this little cup? Because they were, they just took it out of this big barrel or whatever it is. And so why don't we have to shove this pipe and then pour it? Why don't you just take this cup and just drink it on your own? And some people fell for it. As soon as you took this cup, it was like some of them didn't even finish drinking what they told us. As soon as he started drinking, and say, well, looks like you just broke hunger strike. You eat on your own, right? Let's go to another prison now. So we just put you in transporter. They start isolating it. And eventually, because one of our requests was a status of political prisoner, that we are not sitting for crimes like the government is saying. We sit for political, because we are political prisoners. We disagree with socialism and communism. So they say, oh, no, absolutely not. You are just criminals. And that hunger strike also included fight for the status of political prisoner. And eventually the church, after I think a month or after some time, the Polish church, the Catholic church came out and said, guys, you need to stop it because there's a lot of people are getting sicker and weaker and you will never accomplish that status. That you need to drop that. But, there was our fight with the system and with the prison systems too. So that's... I will have to say the food got a little bit better when I was in the political prison because there, and eventually when the communists start shaking, the socialism, they start being like a little bit better to us. So they removed the warden who inside the beatings of political prisoners that they were beating us. So I got beat up. I think there's like third day we show up up there. So he got removed, those more brutal prisoner guards were removed, and eventually became, like before the political amnesty, before John Paul II, the Pope, before he came to Poland for the second time, they started actually releasing political prisoners. That's how I got out. But the oppression didn't stop there, because then I was being like, sometimes I couldn't find a job. I was picked I was doing kickboxing and taekwondo. So coming from the training, sometimes in the evening, police came in and civilian cars, civilian clothes, the secret police with the badges say, you go with us. And they handcuffed me, like I described earlier. They tried to intimidate me. They was driving around the town, through the woods, to the fields, then back to town. That was, they done it to me, I have about 2 or 3 times. But it was not so much to intimidate me, because they knew they cannot intimidate me. But there was more to intimidate those people around me.
Yeah.
So like, hey, this, I don't want to be in this guy's shoes. I better don't show up on train. I better don't show up around this guy. But eventually it became very dangerous, and there were people that disappeared.